Okay, so in preparation for your first test tomorrow, I have a couple quick warm-up questions and then a little bit of review, and then you're going to be able to spend the rest of the period rewatching videos, asking each other questions, working on finishing up your homework, whatever you need to do to be personally prepared for the test tomorrow. So first of all, please pause the video for 5 minutes to work on these two warm-up questions, and feel free to work together if you need to. Okay, so we have IQ test scores of 10 randomly chosen fifth graders, and in making a STEM plot, it's asking what numbers we would use as stems. Now remember, a STEM plot takes each observation and splits it into a stem and a leaf, and the rule is that the leaf has to be a single digit. So the leaves are the 5, the 9, the 6, the 2. The stems are everything else. So 14, 13, 12, 12, 12, 13. I see this 9. This is going to be split as 96. So my stems need to go from 9 all the way up to, I believe, 14. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. The answer is B. Just for fun, let's review what that stem plot would look like. So that would be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then on the right-hand side, all the 90s, well, that's just 96. All the 100s, there aren't any. That doesn't matter. I can't skip it. I just leave it as a placeholder. The 110s, that's going to be, I see 110 exactly. I see 118, which occurs twice, and I think that's it. The 120s, that's going to be 122, 125, and 126. So I'm going to write a 2, a 5, and a 6. The 130s, I have 130 and 139. So that's going to be written as a 0 and a 9. And then finally 145. Okay. Again, this question didn't ask for that, just going a little extra. Question 2 is interesting. Your test average in my class based on the first 5 tests is a 79. On the 6th test you get a 90. What's your new test average? And you may think, well, Ms. Kramer, I can't do this. I don't know my first 5 test scores. But when we're using averages like this, average in this case means mean, we don't need the actual values. Since the mean based on the first 5 is a 79, I know that my first test grade plus my second plus my third plus my fourth plus my fifth divided by 5 was a 79. And what that tells me is that my first plus my second plus my third plus my fourth plus my fifth is equal to 79 times 5. I'm just multiplying both sides by 5, okay? And that's equal to 395. So I don't know my first 5 test scores, but I know that they sum to 395. So I can take the sum of the first 5, which is 395, that's score 1 plus score 2 plus score 3 plus score 4 plus score 5, plus the 6th one, which it says that I got a 90 on, and I can divide those by the new number of observations, which is 6. You see what I did there? So I took the sum of the first 5 plus the 6th one. Now this is the sum of all 6 scores divided by 6. So if I add 90 to that and I divide by 6, I get 80.83 repeating. So 80.83. Okay? So you see I didn't actually need the first 5 scores. What I needed is what they summed to, because then I can sum the 6th with them and divide by 6. All right, I'm going to give you a brief list of topics that you need to review in order to be successful for the test tomorrow. The first is basically everything from the quiz that was passed back yesterday. So how to create and interpret all of the different graphs. If you need to have that list of graphs, you can refer back to the review video from before the quiz. You need to know how to do center shape spread. You need to know how to do the 1.5 IQR rule. Never mind, here is the list of graphs: histograms, box plots, stem plots, dot plots, ogives. Those are the most important. We also talked a little bit about bar graphs, and we talked a little bit about time plots, but these are definitely the ones you should focus on. You need to review transforming data, so feel free to rewatch that video if that's a difficult topic for you, recentering versus rescaling. Those make really good multiple choice questions. You need to review when to use which summary, okay? So in the case where I have a reasonably symmetric distribution, it's okay to use mean and standard deviation. If I have outliers or skewness, I should use median and IQR. Now I want to be clear here. If this whole when to use which summary idea is the point of the question, it'll be pretty clear to you. It'll tell you something about the distribution and then ask you which summary you should use and ask you to defend that, okay? If the point is for you to just give center shape and spread, then give whatever you can give. Spread, usually range is the easiest one to give, so give the range. It doesn't matter. If I'm asking a question that's trying to get at this topic, it'll be pretty clear. And then finally, we need to be able to answer questions like, when is the mean greater than the median? We know that the mean gets pulled towards the tail. So if the mean is bigger, that means the tail is on the right, because the mean would get pulled in that direction. And so the answer to this question is skewed right. The last thing I want to do is give you some hints for tomorrow's test. This is not hints in terms of what's going to be on it, but rather hints on how to best be prepared. First of all, please, please, please have everything ready by the time you come to class. Have your homework ready. It's organized, it's in order. Maybe all it needs is to be stapled, okay, by the time you come to class. When you come into class, you're going to put your homework in the bin, and you're going to have a seat and get ready. Another thing I need is for you to put all of your stuff at the front of the room, okay? You cannot access your backpack during any tests or quizzes. I told you that in the very first video. You need to remember that, please. You should also have your calculator ready. If you want to walk into class with your calculator already in your hand, I think that's awesome, and I think that really puts you in the right frame of mind. So basically, be ready when you walk into class. Please don't spend too much time on any one question. Every year I have students on the first test that run out of time, okay? And the reason for that is often that they spend too much time on the multiple choice. Maybe it would make more sense for you to start on the free response, because on multiple choice, if you run out of time, you can take a guess and bubble something. But if you run out of time on the free response, there's not a whole lot you can do. So I strongly actually recommend that you start at least by looking at the free response and start to craft your answers there, and then go back and make sure you have enough time for the multiple choice. The test consists of 8 multiple choice questions and 2 free response questions. That means you get 12 minutes per free response and 2 minutes per multiple choice, assuming we start on time. Guys, that's AP pace. I am starting right now to try to train you to be able to tackle the AP exam in the appropriate amount of time, okay? There is no extra time unless you have a documented plan for that, but unless you do, when the bell rings, time is up, turn in your test, okay? I don't want you to learn this the hard way, but each year there are a few students who run out of time on this first test. You need to pace yourself, okay? So have everything ready when you get to class. Make sure and pace yourself. Maybe that means starting in the free response. Free response usually takes students a little bit longer than multiple choice. And then remember that there are 8 multiple choice questions and 2 free response questions. You can spend the rest of the period reviewing previous videos, working on homework, asking each other questions. Whatever you do, it needs to be on topic. You need to spend your class time in my class on AP statistics, not on anything else. Good luck on the test tomorrow, and on Friday we begin Chapter 2.